Hi everybody, Rector Arundel here. Once again, it is Monday, August 19, 2019. I'm going to try to practice what I'm preaching right now and ignore this annoying child who's crying in the background because I didn't get to finish my last video when it comes to eating and working out, but I put enough on there that it makes sense. Since then I changed her and now she's just being whiny, so we're going to let her do some self-soothing while we talk. So, essentially, some pretty huge things that have been happening personally as far as spiritual growth. Number one, as you all know, well, maybe you don't know. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it. My birthday present to myself, July 20, was to quit smoking. So my last cigarette was July 19. Now we are here on August 19, so it's been a month. I have not had a cigarette in a month. And because of that, I told myself that, hey, you have better willpower than you think. You are stronger than you think, so let's make some of these other things happen that you've been pushing off and knowing you can handle and you can do better on. So, I also have, well, let me back up for a second. My other brother's birthday, the one who may or may not be enlightened or self-realized, his birthday was August 15, so I gave him a call. We talked for quite a while, and I think he has something figured out. Whether or not he is completely and truly realized, because there are a lot of different beliefs out there as far as whether there are different levels of enlightenment. I do believe that he does have an effective Kundalini activation, and I do believe that it has tapped him into Source. I do believe he has a direct connection with Source or God. His deity is Jesus Christ, so he says he talks to Jesus Christ directly. Now, a lot of you out there might call that crazy, but that's okay. This is the land of crazy. This is the land of breaking barriers and breaking self-limiting concepts and seeing what you can do. So you might think it's crazy, but if it's not crazy, wouldn't you like to be able to communicate directly with your highest self or God? And the answer is, of course, everyone wishes they had a connection to God. Otherwise, stop it. There'd be no religion in the world. We all have religion because we all want to have a connection with God. Just most religions fail to teach us how to do that effectively. So anyway, my little brother, now, he calls himself essentially connected to Jesus Christ. And he was telling me some ways in which this happened for him. Now, first of all, I'm going to say that we've been talking about this for quite a while, and I didn't think he was wrong on some things. I just didn't think that he was explaining them well enough for me to understand. And that's, if you think about it, that's the problem with all enlightened beings. They all try to explain things to you in their best way possible. Okay, now I'm taking it away. That's the fourth time I told you not to do that. Anyway, so all enlightened beings try to tell you how to become enlightened, but it's just them holding a signpost up saying this is the direction to go. But you interpret it the way that you interpret it, and you're biased because of your own experiences and your own opinions, so it's impossible for you to fully understand what they're saying, even though you're trying your best, because you are not them. And they're trying their best to describe a concept that really is beyond words, right? So, before I go on, I'm going to talk to you about a couple of books that I absolutely think are some of the best books out there as far as spirituality goes, period. And I'm not going to show you the Bible, the Quran, or the Bhagavad Gita, although those might all be very good books anyway. First book I'm going to show you is this one. It's called The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali by Sri Swami Satchidananda. Now, this is a wonderful book because he goes into Patanjali's sutras, which are basically one-line clues as to how to follow the 8 limbs of yoga effectively, to transcend your ego, transcend your mind, silence your mind, etc., and become basically connected to Source. What yoga really is. You're connecting your soul with God's soul. That's what yoga means, union of your soul back with Source again. So essentially, there's a lot of great Sanskrit terms laid out in this book, but nature is everything you see around you, is called prakrti, Prakrti, prakrti. Anyway, I'm not sure if the pronunciation is perfect. So, according to yoga, all that nature is prakrti, But that also includes your physical body and your mind. You see, according to yoga, your body is nature, not you, because you are the animating force inside the body. You are the soul. But also, your mind is a sense, like hearing, smelling, seeing, and thinking are all senses. They're all part of the body. They're not inherently you. So, the biggest problem with humanity is that we mistake our mind for ourselves. Our mind is the nonstop thinker, the reflective response to the one who, I'm mad because you made me mad, blah, 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 blah. But according to yoga, and according to Buddhism as well, and according to many other religions, your goal is to overcome this mind and to become, to silence your mind so that your true self, your soul, your connection to source can shine through. So it's all going full circle. Honey, I want you down from there. You're going to hurt. Come on. Climb on down. Thank you. You can't climb on that. Okay, anyway, as I was saying, those two books are wonderful. Here's the second book. The second book is Practicing the Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. That is how you say his name. A lot of people call him Tolle, but that's not right. If you look at his YouTube channel, Eckhart Tolle. So anyway, he has a couple other books that I like, but I don't like as much as this one. Because this one basically spells out how can you stay in the now. It gives you some tips and tricks on staying in the now, remaining in the moment, which is where you find liberation, which is where you find self-realization, which is where you get enlightened. The enlightened being is always in the now. They're not dwelling in the past or the future. They're in the now. So here's the hook. Here's what I've come to realize, or what I think is true. My little brother, the supposed enlightened one, has been telling me for a long time the key to becoming enlightened is to absorbing, and, absorbing is the best word for now, absorbing and building energy inside yourself. So, for example, if you get mad about someone stealing your lunch, you could react and you could throw a temper tantrum, you could vocalize it, you could break something, but that is externalizing the energy. What he recommends instead is when you feel that anger, don't do the Tolle response, which is notice the feeling and forget about it. Because Tolle would say, don't dwell on the past, let it go. Well, that is a way to suppress your mind, but it's not a way to build the energy from your mind. Because energy, basically feelings create energy, and feelings are your body's response to your mind. Your mind has all these thoughts about fairness and beauty and hate and all this other stuff. But anyway, your body's response to your mind is feelings. So when you do get angry, if you stop for a second and feel the energy, you'll feel it vibrating, or like people say I had a sinking feeling in my stomach when someone was mad at me or I was disappointed. That's good. That means you can feel. You're supposed to feel. So most people would try to either act out on that energy. Oh, sorry, my kid is ready for her nap, so she's being really hard to please right now. Anyway, so the energy is there. Whether you know you feel it or not depends on your awareness. Awareness is a very pop culture word right now, but you should be aware. You should be aware of your feelings because they are there for a purpose. They are part of Prakriti. Again, they are part of nature. And nature's whole purpose is to make you reflect on yourself. You are the soul. You are the Purusa, as it were. So nature, Prakriti, whole goal is to make you see yourself. And it's distorted because your mind is distorted because of the old ideas and opinions and beliefs. So your goal from this day forward is to recognize that you are infinite and that everything around you in this 3D world is here to remind you that you are more than this. And that is the whole purpose. So when you do feel feelings, most of us act on them. If you're feeling frustrated, you might be tired, you might take a nap. If you're feeling angry, you might throw a temper tantrum, or you might yell at somebody. You might complain, you might vent. So that is feeling, and you're supposed to feel. But you're supposed to feel so that you can feel and build the energy. The energy is undeniably there. You've just learned to deal with it in unhealthy ways, like drinking and smoking and masturbation and all these other things that we know that they're pleasurable. Well, pleasure is great, but it's only temporarily satisfying. Whereas when you are connected to soul, Purusa, I'm sorry, honey, you can't suck on that. That is not good for you. Now Daddy has to put it away so you don't see it. So anyway, I'm gonna get kid some milk while we're talking. So yes, you have all these material enjoyments that help you to deal with the stresses and feelings that you have on a natural everyday today situation. Now we all think, how can we find eternal happiness? Well, you find eternal happiness by getting rid of your mind, your ego, which is all part of nature, and basically living in your natural self, which is the Purusa, or the God state, the Christ-like, the Buddha-like state. And you can only live in that state once you transcend nature. So, most of us cannot handle nature that well. And we soothe nature with other nature. We soothe our feelings by drinking or smoking or eating, self-indulging the physical. And it's only temporary, right? So, there's a reason why all these religions have this self-disciplining nature to it. They almost all have fasting. They almost all have, holding back your sexual desires. Most of them don't believe in drugs. And there are several reasons for that. I've come to realize that the reason you shouldn't do drugs is because drugs make you forget the point. You enjoy drugs so much that you forget that you should be basically holding back. And we'll be right back. I gotta put the milk away. I like drugs as much as the next person, but you will not grow spiritually while you are doing drugs, because drugs make you super, super happy temporarily. And you forget that you are supposed to be noticing this unhappiness and absorbing and building this energy. If you are doing drugs, you're releasing energy, not only by ignoring it and suppressing it, but also by forgetting to, here you go, hold back. Because people who do drugs usually will do sex too. And that's a great release of energy, except for, guess what? Now you wasted the potential of growth that you could have had. So, this video is already getting long, but it's so much to say. Sexual energy. Kundalini is part of sexual energy. Sexual energy is part of Kundalini. If you don't have a release, your energy is building. It is building and building and building and working its way up your spine through all of your chakras, which is the goal. You want to activate all of your chakras and eventually break into that source and have connection with God again. You're essentially breaking the system, the mind, ego, prakriti system. You break it by building up energy enough. Now, there is another book that I really like too, but I'm not going to talk about it right now. Basically, it talks about you can activate Kundalini in any of your chakras. And in this book, she recommends activating it in your lower chakras because that's where the Kundalini is coiled up and stored. But a lot of other religions, like Hindu and a few other different areas, they recommend focusing on your third eye all the time, especially during meditation, because you're building energy. Energy goes where your mind goes. So if you're thinking about your third eye, energy swells there. So basically, my brother says this. At first, imagine your mind, your head is an empty room. And you know, most of us already do this for meditations. But during the day, focus on not reacting to anything, not reacting to happiness or sadness or anger. Feel it, know it's there, and dwell on it. Totally would say that feel it and focus on the now. Well, that is true partially, but you don't want to focus on the now and ignore it. You want to feel it, and you want to channel that energy up into your third eye. The cave of Brahma is the Hindu term. The center of your brain, where your pineal gland is, where your amygdala is. Well, not the amygdala, I'm sorry. Pineal gland and your pituitary glands right in the center of your head. Focus your vibrations, your energy there whenever you have a feeling, whether it be sadness, happiness, anger, frustration, whatever. Don't react to it. Keep it in, because you don't want to release any energy. There are certain things that you want to achieve in this life, like, working out or doing your job at, whatever it may be. You have to expend physical energy to do that. But otherwise, even Yogananda recommends moving as little as possible throughout the day because we waste so much energy. This is where breathing techniques come in. Why do we breathe slowly? Multiple reasons. Number one is to slow your mind's activities because they're connected. The more you breathe, the more energy you're expending, and the more your brain is going 100 miles an hour. You slow down your breathing, You're going to slow down the energy expenditure, and you're going to slow down your mind. So that is one of the reasons why so many different practices are involving pranayama, or breathing. Focus on slowing down your energy expenditure. So you slow down your energy, you build it up internally in your light body. Once you build energy enough, your mind, which is incessantly always talking, it will be overwhelmed. It will be a short circuit. It will pop, if you will, and you'll have a Kundalini activation. Once you have a Kundalini activation, your chakras are all cleansed and activated and permanently, I do mean permanently, spun up to their full potential, and you have a direct connection with God, with Source. You live in the now, and you are enlightened, essentially. Now, I'm not going to go into different levels of enlightenment because I'd rather experience them personally than tell you what a book says, and there are lots of books on it. So, once again, the key to enlightenment, according to my little brother, is not reacting to any emotion, feeling every emotion. He says that on Star Wars, they have it exactly opposite. The Jedi are taught not to think of any emotion, not to have attachments. This is kind of like the Buddhist way, right? Whereas the Sith, the only down problem with the Sith is that they're evil. They're always selfish. Well, they are told to not only man, my mind is blanking right now. They're told to embrace emotions, love, hate, whatever, because they need that energy. They feel the force flow growing inside you. So you want to feel that emotion. Just don't react to it, because reacting to it means that you are wasting the energy. Save it, hold on to it, and it's going to build up so much that it feels like you're going to explode. And when that happens, you're lucky. You're going to face death, the ego's death, your little self, the death of the mind, which is exactly what you want, because it's a tool that is taking over you. My ego is blabbing right now, very happy with itself. But once this video is over, I'm going to go back to trying not to talk in my mind at all, except for, maybe saying a mantra. I have a mantra. I was initiated with a guru who gave me a mantra. You don't have to have a mantra, but if you, want to have a good mantra, I can give you a couple of good examples. I have a couple mantras that I would be happy to share. But basically, mantras help you to stay on the right track. They help you to keep your thoughts clear, or at least in a positive direction. Um, it's basically impossible to suppress your mind at first, but you can change your thoughts by overwhelming your mind with proper things. For example, let's just say I want to smoke a cigarette right now. Well, you can think about the cigarette and how you're not smoking it, and that will torture you. Or you can think about a mantra instead and just keep saying the mantra over and over and over and over again. And the sensation or desire to smoke will slowly go away, and then you'll be left with a better option. So all this stuff comes out of the books that I read, obviously. I'd love to say that it's coming from Source directly, but Source is helping me to make connections between the two, with not giving me knowledge directly that I'm able to comprehend. That's only going to happen when I finally activate my Kundalini completely and activate the crown chakra and can have a direct connection to my highest self, to Purusa, to God. So this video is now almost 20 minutes long. I told you I had a lot to say. I'm sure you're going to have questions, and I would love to answer your questions. Like I said, if you have questions about mantras, why they exist, and what's the purpose, questions about gurus, or guru is how you really say it, any questions about energy and how you use it and how it affects your body and your mind and your nature and your surroundings, all that stuff is fair game. All right, so thanks again for watching. Basically, if you can, I would highly recommend those books that I showed you. They will tell you the same things that I've told you. Maybe not the connection between the two, but that's why I'm here. Try to not react to anything. Try to save the energy. Put it in any of your chakras. A lot of people would recommend your heart or your third eye. Some might recommend your lowest chakra. That's entirely up to you, whichever feels more correct for you. If you can't silence your mind and be completely quiet, do a mantra. It's much better than thinking of the wrong things. All right, that is all for now. Thank you so very much for watching. I have a baby who's about to pass out, and I'm going to take care of her now. Oh, and by the way, be selfless. If you can't dedicate everything that you do to a deity, dedicate it to nature or humankind, because that is the key to having not claiming any other fruits of your actions, dedicate to something else. All right, this is 20 minutes now. Thank you. Bye.